real Siberius, and we about to get serious. It's the real Siberius, making fanboys furious.
Hello, YouTube. It's the real Siberius. Today, I would like to talk about
were you pausing?
Yeah, who left those crickets in here?
yes.
Welcome everyone to the live. Thank you everybody for joining us. We do have Angry Old Hoop, Sports and Fitness Rants, and Speem in the house today. This is like a dream come true for me. So shout out to everyone. Robin, if you could actually do us the favor of shouting everyone out in the chat, you were so good at that, and I am so bad. I would appreciate it.
Man, listen, I was about to say, what kind of intro was that, AOH? Are you kidding me right now, man? Come on now. Y'all need me to come in with the intro? Next time I come in with the intro. Once again, man, shout out to everybody out there in the chat, man. I am so happy to be here on a Wednesday, man. Live, my goodness gracious. The summertime, the birds is chirping, the sun is out. It's blazing hot where I am. Damn. Once again, shout out to all you guys. Beagle Manta, I see you out there. Kundi 918, I see you out there. Anthony Sanchez, shout out to you. Lynetta, always coming through the third eye. My man, Moan, shout out to you. Spectre Fantasy, Chris Garcia, Prozac, 623. Chip Ferguson, what up, Chip Ferguson? Always coming through. USMC 19, Thinking Through, 1642. Shout out to you for coming through. As always, Anthony McKee, coming through. Shout out to you. I hope I'm saying your guys' names right. If I jacked it up, you guys know. Once again, forgive me. Shout out to Fancy for coming through. I see you out there. Silk A's. Shout out to you, Vicente Garcia, Import AI. Once again, man, you guys know the deal. Let's roll.
Thank you so much for that, Robin. We got a lot to talk about today, and I certainly want to get to it. As I introduce the topics, I'm going to let whose topic it was kind of take the lead on it, and then each of us can touch in as we see fit. So let's just start off. The first topic I have on the list is the victim mentality in the NBA, which is what AOH brought to the table. So take it away, AOH, and let's see where we go.
I don't know if I can take credit for that because I was jumping on SNFR's topics and you and I didn't talk about it that much. Considering everything that's happened, we might table it for later, but let me remember it was Dwayne Wade all of a sudden saying that they got racial negativity in Miami. And then, it was fanboys saying that keeping Austin Reeves and not LeBron was racist too, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I don't know. It's so funny. God damn.
Yeah,
I just
ridiculous.
personally, I remember the Miami days. I thought it was disgusting and it was terrible, but I don't remember anyone talking about race. I mean, did the Miami Heat get blacker or whiter? It was still. I don't know, Robin. I should have listened to your show. You probably covered all of this, but I don't know. Fill us in. Like, how exactly did Dwayne Wade decide that it was a race thing, that we didn't like, that they were disgustingly teaming up and weakening their own conference and colluding, but this was reduced to race?
Well, like you said, it's really what it comes down to is this is just another excuse for the lack of success that they said that they were going to have in Miami. So he just brought this up but like you said, but the funny thing is there are no examples of this racism. It's almost like LeBron James in that fake vandalism story that we heard coming out of LeBron James, like you said, playing the victim. Once again, shout out to my man 93 Zay for coming out. I appreciate you guys, man. Yo, Speem, where you at? Speem, I can't hear you.
I wasn't actually talking. I'm here.
That's what I'm saying, man. Say something, man.
Nah, man. Every time you yell, you make my phone hot. I'm waiting for it to cool down. But no, what's the race thing? I think it's
your phone hot. Damn.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Wish, it's nice to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in a couple of days.
Fuck off.
No, the whole victim mentality thing. I think even if you go back to the whole racist connotation being put on LeBron's house and all that, again, there was no proof of it. He wasn't there when it happened. It was just one more chip on the shoulder to add to what makes them angry. But I remember the Miami days, AOH, to answer your question. Race was never brought up.
Thank you.
It never even, it's just revisionist history. And I'm joking, but I'm not at the same time. Where was all this racist propaganda, when they brought Luka in? Nobody talked about Luka being on the Lakers, taking away from LeBron's shine, that being a race-related thing. It's because Luka was just, he's the man, right? But now all of a sudden, Austin Reeves get a max contract, whether you think he should or not. They're putting into the future of their team. They're putting into a dude, foul baiter or not. He clearly wants to be there. LeBron can't even flat out tell you that. You know what I mean? So it's not race, it's business. At the very bottom level, you know what I mean?
By the way, I heard. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, a side note. I heard you mentioned Luka coming over to the Lakers, and I heard today he's being named as a top 5 player again. So I guess LeBron leaving, maybe they're going to stop shitting on Luka.
Well, I never personally considered him outside a top 5 conversation ever. Are you saying that this was like an official like top 5 players and now Luka's back in it now that LeBron's gone? Like that's an officially documented thing?
I don't know if they ever listed exactly how far Luka had fallen. All I remember is that he was taking blame for a lot of things.
Well, I don't know if you remember when he first got to the Lakers. Remember, he was overweight, of course, but then overnight he lost 17 pounds, if you believe the media, got in the shape of his life, and all of a sudden now he's this, quote unquote defensive phenom. Amazing how all that changes with a little bit of narrative shifting.
Yeah, well, he was that weight when he went to the NBA Finals. Just saying.
That's true. Oh my goodness gracious, man!
It's not that good of a topic. If it was more something to laugh about, we can move on.
Right.
Well, can we actually use this real quick to say we don't have to if we want to, but the whole Ben Simmons news. Speaking of victim mentality.
Oh well, yeah. Let's get into that. I'm not even aware of it, so this will be news to me. Okay,
yeah. So he had an interview, in which they asked him about the play where he passed up on the dunk and. What happened with his nerves and everything like that. I'm just going to pull some of the quotes here because you want to speak about victim mentality. He pretty much placed the blame on where are we at here? Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. He basically chalked it up to him saying that he didn't want to play until he was fully healthy, which is bullshit because what player is healthy?
You know what's really funny, Speem? And once again, the thing about this Ben Simmons, the reason why he's actually being relevant right now is because he's actually talking about making a quote unquote comeback for the 2027 season. So with the funny thing about Ben, I saw an article of Ben Simmons maybe like a couple of months ago, and they were talking about Ben Simmons possibly becoming a professional fisherman. Like one of those guys that goes out there and catches like marlins and stuff like that. So like that was like his next thing. And I was this close to doing a video on it. I remember the article on ESPN and everything. So it's really funny to me that all of a sudden now I hear him thinking about making a comeback to the NBA. So I can only assume that whole fishing experiment didn't turn out too good for my man Ben Simmons.
Well, peep this quote real quick. Peep this quote from Ben Simmons, all right? And our quote. I plan on getting as strong as I can physically, getting my ass on the court, and then the team realizing that my abilities will be needed. He says, I don't have a plan on where. He feels like he still has a lot to offer teams. You can't teach 6'10" and IQ, he says. And he's been talking to coaches who have told him to get healthy because if he's healthy, he has a spot. Listen to this. This is the key part. Okay. He says, maybe I'll go back to Philly. He says, Miami would be nice. And not because it's Miami. I like Eric Spoelstra. I like the heat. I like the organization. I like the culture. So, this makes me like, I'm trying not to swear. I'm trying to cut that out of my whole vocabulary. This makes me sick because how do you just think that you can just come back? It's not like you left on this high note, right? A and B, you get to pick where you go. You think Philly's going to take you back? Listen to me. If he goes to Miami, I mean, you got what now? Him, Giannis, who
A bunch of goofs. That's what you got. A bunch of goofs over there.
Potentially LeBron. I mean, because Ben Simmons is former Clutch, right? He might still be signed to Clutch.
Hey, Siberius.
Maybe. Yeah.
Why don't you move the faces around, since Robin and I are actually on camera and you and Speem aren't? Put us.
Oh, can I do that? Oh, okay.
Oh, you got my man 808 down the counter.
No one puts baby in a corner.
Yo, Hollywood Shuffle. Shuffle it up, baby.
Hollywood Shuffle.
All right,
Yes,
Speem,
sir.
on your topic. Speem, on your topic, you mentioned him being 6'10". The screenshot that I saw of his quote was he wasn't hitting and the other guy was, and that's why he passed up a dunk. How the fuck is not shooting well an excuse to pass up a dunk?
That's that reverse psychology right there for Ben Simmons. That's what he's talking right there in his own mind.
That is
man.
some dumb shit.
Yup. And that's what we're talking about in the NBA, the lack of development in the mind from these guys. There is no IQ development for the NBA basketball players. They come in with low IQs. They come in with low fundamentals, right? They don't go to school for a long time, these guys. It's not a coincidence. Look at these fools, man. They come in here with a bunch of goofy-ass names and a bunch of goofy-ass, outfits.
It's basic human accountability, Robin. We're not even talking about basic developments of a basketball player. We're talking about basic developments of a human fucking being. You like accountability is what's being missed here. AOH, to your point, how are you going to sit there and talk about passing up on a dunk? And that, I think in that same quote he referred to the free throws as well, completely missing the point.
Yep.
Completely missing the point. And not one person have I seen that's spoken to him called him out on, which is even weirder because he's a disgraced NBA superstar. It's not like he's relevant anymore. There should be somebody in his ear saying, like, you need to humble yourself a little bit.
Well, he's a victim,
a lot of it.
so you can't criticize
There's never
the victim.
pushback. People can say the
James
stupidest
and Ben
things in the
Simmons should
world.
play together. Because remember, Ben Simmons was supposed to be the next LeBron James.
He sure was.
I'm curious because we know what Siberius's topics are. We don't know what Robin wants to talk about. We don't have to talk about it now, but I'm just curious. Did you have a couple of specifics in mind?
I don't do topics, man. I'm sports and fitness rants, baby, not sports and fitness topics. You know the deal, baby. Let's make it happen out here. There's so many things going on. AOH, we don't need topics. You have all kinds of nonsense going on. We just had the goof troop being put together. Anthony Edwards and goofy ass LaMelo Ball. LeBron James saying that he wants to all of a sudden now play for happiness. Oh, I'm playing for happiness in year 24. Oh, thank you, LeBron James, for waiting 24 years for playing for happiness.
Your guys' devices don't get hot every time Robin yells. That can't just be me.
Move it away from your
insane nonsense we see. You see the Lakers, all the moves going on. Luke Kennard pieced out to the Lakers. He signed with the Phoenix Suns. They just signed this dude, Walker Kessler. They just signed the Lakers. They're making all kinds of moves. Marcus Smart signed with the Houston Rockets.
What happens with Bronny, I think, is an interesting question.
Oh, Walker Jesus, the Lakers are getting really white. Well, then again, they lost Kennard.
They get ultra white.
They're the LA Jazz.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, that's so funny.
Which makes more sense than the Utah Jazz.
Here, real quick, I just want to get to some of these supers.
Yeah.
Thinking through 1642, Lakers fans rejoice. Today is a legendary day in LA. Thank you for the super. Al Sabad 1772. Great to see you guys. You are all awesome. And if LeBron goes to Golden State, that would be the weakest move. And he made a lot of weak moves. Yep. Oh yeah, if that happens, well, I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. Anyway, let's touch on what we think is going to happen to Bronny. I mean, I actually had this queued up because the Lakers are finally free.
Bronny's contract is guaranteed. Is the only thing.
It is.
LeBron waited to announce this until Bronny's contract was fully guaranteed.
Wait, he got a new one? He already had 4. I thought he came in on a 4-year guaranteed.
I thought it was a 2-year with a 2-year option, but
Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure I
I
read
think
yesterday.
it's a 2-year with a 2-year option because he got a bump in pay too.
Oh, that's right. It went up to like 4.93 mil or something like that,
which is insane.
JJ had 4-year guaranteed.
And LeBron waited to make that announcement until after they guaranteed it, which I mean, what's legal anymore in
family
the
time, family time, family time. Jesus Christ.
Someone put it in perspective. I really enjoyed that. Bron going to, if he went to the Warriors, you're going to the team that beat the shit out of you historically, right? That's somehow way worse than Kevin Durant going to the Warriors. So put that in perspective. Kevin Durant going to the Warriors is one of the all-time corniest moves ever, right? LeBron going to the Warriors trumps that significantly. That's how bad of a move that would be.
Well, so I've actually heard that door is closed because the Lakers re-signed. I can't remember who it was.
Porzingis.
Yeah.
Kristaps, yeah.
I was going to say, so they no longer have that cap space free. So from what I understand, that is no longer an option unless he's going to take less.
I don't know. They're still talking about it. I still see news coming out that he's going there.
They are.
They haven't let off. They haven't let off. Listen, the Warriors will always find room for an old injured has-been.
Yep.
Whatever money they have left, they'll give it to an old injured has-been. So they may still find a way to get LeBron in the mix. Fucking worthless goddamn front office.
Didn't Draymond say he would take a pay cut or something along those lines?
Well, he didn't pick up his option. He didn't pick up his player option.
He shouldn't be getting paid anyway. How did the big story that everybody reported on? They were calling them the Big Four. How does Draymond Green's worthless ass factor into a big anything? They were never a big three with Clay, Steph, and Draymond. That's all bullshit. They were barely a big two. And Draymond certainly, now that he's even more worthless than he's ever been, wouldn't make them part of a big four. Not that, LeBron's worthless ass shouldn't be considered part of a big four either.
Well, right.
I mean, worthless. Absolutely fucking worthless. By the way, anyone in the Bay Area who listens to 95.7, the game, and are a fan of mine, you call in and you call Guru a bitch every single chance you have. Fuck those guys shouldn't have a fucking sports radio show. All the reasons you just listed for why it's disgusting, Siberius, and we've got sports radio show guy who supposedly represents Warriors and Niners saying, yeah, it'd be great to have LeBron here.
Oh my God.
He literally said, he's like, LeBron, but LeBron equals winning. Have you fucking been paying attention for the last 7 years?
That's what I'm saying. How come they can never give you an example of why LeBron James would be a good, fit on your team, or why he would come and be a good thing? I heard Kendrick Perkins saying earlier that, LeBron James and Steph Curry playing together is box office. Everyone wants to come watch LeBron James and Steph Curry play, and nobody wants to watch LeBron. Who wants to go watch LeBron James? Nobody wants to go watch LeBron James stand around, pound and moan up and down the court, carry and travel, set illegal screens, throw guys all over the damn place, flop all over the damn court. Who wants to watch that? No one wants to watch that, but he's telling you that LeBron James is still box office. LeBron James, people still want to go out there and watch him, man. Those are not real basketball fans.
Hashtag fire Kendrick Perkins. But also, I think, LeBron going to LA, he was going there to be in movies, right? To be entertainment. And it was all bad. If he goes to the Warriors, don't you have to have a modicum of intelligence to be able to navigate the tech sector? AOH, you can probably answer that better than anybody here, right? Like, he would go there as a businessman. There's no way he has the bandwidth to be able to be successfully business-wise there, right? There's no way he carries that. You have to have some kind of intelligence.
Bitches are some of the dumbest people I've ever met, man.
Wait, what'd you say?
You hand people money and investment money. Good things happen sometimes. You know, it's a crapshoot. Like 1 out of 10 of the companies makes it. And the investors are just hoping that they invested in 1 out of the 10 that makes up for all the rest of it. I mean, some of these companies is the dumbest crap I've ever heard of in my life, and they get rich anyway. So all LeBron has to do is be an investor and then make his name known if one of his investments works out. And then he can say that it's his company or something like that. But he doesn't have to actually put any thought or effort or strategy or intelligence that he doesn't have into anything to be part of a business.
Oh, never mind. Then he'll probably be super successful.
I mean, that's all it takes is, you throw enough shit at the wall, some of it sticks.
That's basically what it is.
But that's just how it works.
So you're saying that LeBron James is playing for the money and the fame, Speed. That's just saying, right? He's playing for the money and the fame. He ain't playing to win no championships.
No, as stupid as he is, there's got to be somebody in his camp. There's got to be one person that says the longer you play, the worse it is for your legacy. Like there's got to be somebody in his family has to like he's not going to win another chip, right? Even if he does, like let's say he goes to the Warriors, and I don't want to speak this into existence. Let's say he goes to the Warriors and he gets ring number, I'm going to say 3. Okay. Let's say he gets ring number 3. Okay. He had to go join up with Curry, who owned his ass this entire time to get it. How does that help your legacy?
Curry should walk.
Oh, that would be great.
That would be great.
That would be beautiful.
I'd love to see that.
I'll tell you what, with everybody so enamored with this story, have you noticed that you haven't heard Steph Curry say LeBron's coming? It's Draymond and it's Perkins and it's LeBron's camp, but I haven't heard Steph Curry say anything. Shouldn't that matter? I mean, for the most part, he stays quiet, which I think is to his credit, but
I agree. It's one of the things I respect about him.
Who's the leader of the Warriors that AOH? Because I don't want to say Draymond Green, because I think it's Draymond Green.
Well, he's the most vocal, if you consider that leadership.
So
yeah,
at that juncture, like Steph Curry, if he doesn't walk, he's got to just lay it out on the table then and try to take ownership of that team, because it's going to be a fucking circus.
Man, Steph Curry is the Warriors, man. There are no Warriors without Steph Curry. There's no Draymond Green without Steph Curry. There's none of this stuff. Yeah, hell, even have a LeBron James career, we can owe to Steph Curry. You guys just mentioned before, the times that they battle each other in the finals. So that goes to Steph Curry and what he's done for LeBron James, man. Because LeBron James hasn't done anything for Steph Curry's career, man. I mean, look what LeBron James has done for the NBA that Steph Curry's lived in. All LeBron James has done is take all the shine away from Steph Curry. He's taken all the fame and everything away from Steph Curry. They talk about, LeBron James been the face of the league. LeBron James been the best player. Don't no one talk about Steph Curry. Steph Curry, all the things that Steph Curry's done, he's had to do despite everyone promoting and pumping up LeBron James. Think about all the stories we talk about. Hey, what's LeBron James going to do in the offseason? That's all they're worried about. Never talk about Steph Curry. Think about all the times in the offseason we heard, hey, man, they got to get LeBron James more help. It don't matter what team LeBron James on. It don't matter what year it was. You never hear them say, oh, the Warriors got to do this for Steph Curry. They got to get rid of this bum Draymond Green for Steph Curry. They got to get somebody else for Steph Curry. No, they bring in freaking Kristaps Porzingis and Al freaking Horford last season. Are you freaking kidding me?
And they waited until Jimmy Butler was the worst version of himself.
Steph Curry gonna turn Draymond Green into a Hall of Fame caliber player. That's what he did for a guy who wouldn't have even been in the league in the 90s. Wouldn't have even sniffed it. But he turned this dude into one of the greatest defenders in the history of the game.
Robin, peep this though. Even if you've never watched a game of basketball in your life, if you show the most casual sports fan a highlight reel of Steph Curry, right? And you show them a highlight reel of LeBron James. You ask someone who's never watched basketball before a day in their life, you ask them, who do you think would be the face of the league? Who do you think brings joy to basketball? Who do you think makes kids want to play basketball? Who do you think extends the game of basketball internationally? Between this highlight reel and this one, who do you think anybody with any common sense would pick? The dude who just elbows through people like Shao Kahn and just punches people in the face as he goes to the paint and then bitches, or the dude who flows in and out of the paint, runs like a 5K on every possession, like whenever he has a weakness to his game, he changes it. Whenever he's too small, he builds muscle.
Obviously,
what are we doing here?
Just charismatically, for the face of the league, you want someone who looks like a cave troll and has hair plugs and a dyed beard. That's the obvious choice.
That is the and can't speak
cusses,
a complete sentence. Cusses.
Yeah, he can't speak in a complete sentence, and he adds cussing on top of that. That's
and things of that nature. He does a lot of things of a lot of natures.
He's just more of a likable person, Steph Curry. His personality is more likable. His game is more likable. All of these things about Steph Curry versus LeBron James, it's not even close, man. So that's why, we laugh at a lot of this stuff when they talk about him maybe going to the Warriors, LeBron James, because why? Why are you doing this? Like, either Steph Curry, this is not helping Steph Curry's career. This is not helping his legacy. Now you got to play LeBron James now. What is this going to look like? Once again, are these guys going to be on the court? Because then they'll turn around next season and say, well, they only played 17 games together on the court, between them. So we can't really judge them. Well, when the hell are we going to judge them? These guys are old as hell. What are we going to wait 2-3 seasons and then judge them? Come on, make me feel great. They're supposed to be the greatness of them. You're supposed to be able to put them together, and they're supposed to be able to go right to the NBA Finals. That's what Kendrick Perkins is saying.
Isn't the Anthony Davis part of this also ridiculous? Because people will say that LeBron got rid of Davis because he made a smart ass remark because he's that sensitive. Okay, so if LeBron is indeed behind getting rid of Anthony Davis, why would there be a reunion? Why would Anthony Davis be open to that reunion, other than the fact that Anthony Davis has just allowed himself to be kicked around mercilessly without any pushback? But if LeBron actually had a problem with him, why would LeBron want the reunion? I mean, there's a lot of holes in this story, but it's being pushed
that's
hard.
The problem with it is none of it adds up. Curry adding LeBron doesn't make sense. AD wanting to play with LeBron again doesn't make sense.
Nope.
None of it makes sense. The only thing that makes sense is all of this is made up to keep LeBron in the conversation, because no one is calling, because no one is, no one wants them on his team. I genuinely believe the reality is no one is going to pick him up. He will decide to create a fake narrative, just like about him leaving the Lakers, like it was his fucking choice, because it wasn't.
Right.
And it's going to be the exact same thing. Nobody's going to pick him up. The season will start, and he will create this fake narrative about, well, I decided I needed to walk away from the game after 23 years and spend time with my family, all while he's going on this shitty glazing podcast tour talking about, all of the teams that were calling, all of the offers that he had. I needed to spend time with my family, all while not being at home with his family.
Can I've got a rant here.
Go ahead.
I'd like to go off on sports media being allowed to keep referencing vague things such as reports indicate that, or it's been reported. A report doesn't mean a goddamn thing. That's basically like saying I heard a rumor. If you can't say where the report started or what the report is based on, and that by itself is bad. So it's like, come on, you guys aren't bringing anything to the table. You're just keeping people sitting at home in a constant spin cycle of watching, instead of actually providing any information. But they aren't being punished for it.
Right.
Now, but not being punished for it allows them to predict anything and everything.
Yeah.
And again, it's like throwing shit at the wall. One of them's going to stick, and then they get to be like, see, I told you. It's like you predicted LeBron was going to go to 12 different fucking teams. And if he actually makes it onto one of them, you get to say, look, I was right.
I got the exclusive.
That's true.
Well, AOH, if I can interrupt really quickly, one of the most glaring examples I always bring up is when Kendrick Perkins went on his little tirade about 80% of MVP voters being white, and how all he didn't even have to publicly apologize. ESPN did, but I will remain steadfast in that he cost Jokic a third MVP, which at the time was unheard of, right? And he basically gifted Embiid a whole MVP that he didn't deserve with no consequence, just coming out and saying, well, 80% of MVP voters are white, blah, 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 blah. It was the one time JJ Redick was correct in an argument, and it was very difficult for me having to side with him. But Kendrick Perkins says shit like that all the time as a member of sports media. And if it doesn't stick, it still has an impact on somebody like a Jokic who cost him a third MVP.
Yeah, I mean, he actually should have suffered for that. And you're correct. He did not apologize. In fact, he somehow thought that going and quoting Jay-Z vindicated him.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, you're right. Well, that's what we do when we're wrong. We just quote rappers.
What are you doing? Pretending to be black?
Pretending to be black.
You know, I want to say one more thing, touch and really drive home this Steph Curry playing with LeBron James thing, and really how there's a lose-lose situation and no win for Steph Curry to play with LeBron James, no matter what the outcome is. The last time that we saw LeBron James and Steph Curry play together in a really meaningful situation was the Olympics a couple of years ago. And I was watching these Olympic games. I know a lot of you guys were watching this stuff. And a lot of us saw what Steph Curry did in those games, right? When it really mattered most, those last couple of games for the United States, where it looked like they were going to lose to Nikola Jokic Serbian team, where it looked like they might even lose to the French team in the medal game. But Steph Curry, we all saw, came through. And what did Steph Curry get for that? Did he get the MVP for that? No. They actually gave it to LeBron James when we all clearly saw Steph Curry deserved that MVP award, guys. No matter what they want to say and how they want to feel about that, Steph Curry saved the United States, man, in those games, man, especially against Serbia. He saved the USA. So if I'm Steph Curry, why the hell would I want to play with LeBron James when the last time that I played with him and I saved his behind and he was standing around watching me and my greatness, he got all the credit for it. And what happens if the Golden State Warriors don't lose? He's going to be the Luka Doncic of the Warriors.
There you go. There you go. And all I can say is Steph taking, I guess you could argue, the high ground, and he doesn't say much. You don't see him doing what LeBron does every season and being like, hey, do this for me or I'm walking. And he didn't complain about being robbed of the MVP. And I wonder what his limit is. Is he going to keep his mouth shut and just roll with the punches if the Warriors bring in LeBron? And I know a lot of people are asking me how I feel about it. And a million people have made reaction videos to the rumors. Listen, I can't spend energy on it until it's true or false, because Clutch Sports and ESPN are rumor mills. It's rumor mills. And if they do it, I don't know what I'll do. It won't be good, but the rumor of it alone is pretty disgusting and distasteful.
For sure.
There's no way he would get a warm welcome going to the Warriors, by the way. There's no way that crowd.
I don't know.
No fucking way.
Listen, the same thing's happening in San Francisco. They aren't real Warrior fans. It's the few people who can afford to go to the games pretending like they're basketball fans, but it's really just something that they can do. And they priced out the tickets for anyone who was a real Warrior fan. I want to correct something that you said earlier, Speem. You said that Kendrick Perkins said that he would make the Warriors box office. Maybe he said that, but what Sports and Fitness Rants' title says is that Kendrick Perkins claims that it would make them contenders. Is that correct, Sports and Fitness Rants? Is that what he said?
He said both.
Well, that's insane. Contenders? Do you think that the Warriors roster last year had more talent than the Lakers roster last year?
He called them legit. He said legit title contenders.
This is a serious question. Anyone in the chat, on the show, does anyone think that the Warriors roster had more talent on it than the Lakers roster?
I don't think they've had
Absolutely
a
not.
long time.
Absolutely.
Maybe
not.
ever.
Then how the fuck would adding A guy who was the denominator of losing on one team that had more talent become the factor of winning on a less talented team. How?
Well, because Kendrick Perkins said it, and he's insane.
Right.
Exactly. No, but you know what else he said though? I thought it was really funny, and I started talking about this in my video, is that he talked about the potential of Jimmy Butler coming back from the ACL injury. And what he was talking about was that Jimmy Butler should be fine coming back from the ACL injury because he, in fact, was 290 pounds himself when he came back from the ACL injury. So he said, Kendrick Perkins, if I can come back and be fine, then Jimmy Butler should come back and be fine. And to me, that's laughable when Kendrick Perkins has never been on Jimmy Butler's level and they don't play the same kind of game. Kendrick Perkins' game was never predicated on dynamic ability or any kind of the stuff. Jimmy Butler's game is literally predicated on him getting into the paint and dynamic playmaking. That's never been Kendrick Perkins, but that's who he compared his ACL injury and the coming back from an injury with him and Jimmy Butler, man. What a weird dude Kendrick Perkins is.
That is, I mean, that's just crazy.
Yep.
Real quick, I just want to get to some of these supers before we get too far behind. The real Donald Trump, Luka Lakers versus Ladiddy Warriors first round, who wins? And Draymond Green is the worst. I mean, he absolutely is. He just refuses to shut his mouth. Raider Nation 9358. Yes, finally the narcissist is on his way out. Thank God.
That's all you guys coming through with the supers, man. Thank you very much, man.
Chaps 37. Leave the league, Braun. Wouldn't that be great?
Leave the league.
And Chaps 37 again. Why is Braun still in the league? Well, no one knows the answer to that question.
LeBron James leads the league, and people asking when he's going to leave the league.
My guess is that there's also a certain degree of protection with him staying in the league too. I'm guessing once he retires, there's going to be a lot of corporations and people coming after him for some shit. That's my guess. I'm part of me thinks he's staying in the league because he's moderately protected because there's so many people invested in him. But once he's out, I called this a few years ago. The steroid allegations became more and more prevalent the less active he became. And again, hashtag shave that beard because he's got them roid boils right under that stupid ass beard. I'm telling you, this shit is starting to seep through. It's like it's starting to come through the cracks. Go ahead,
He'll just purchase a pardon from the White House. He'll be fine.
Oh yeah, touche. Hey, you can do that now. That's right.
You know what I thought was interesting? Shout out to Joe 79. What was that? 7923. He says the Warriors could use LeBron's whistle. And I think that's a very interesting comment because we all know that Steph Curry has never really been getting the kind of whistle of the other superstar level players that we've seen over the last 10 seasons. So Steph Curry's been abused out there from time to time. People have been allowed to do a lot of things against Steph Curry, and he doesn't really get to the free throw line as often as some of the other guys. But we've seen LeBron James teams benefit from the whistle. So that would be an interesting thing to see if all of a sudden LeBron James went to the Warriors and they were all of a sudden a plus 400 at the free throw line.
Yeah, but
also,
I know real sports fans don't want to see a team win that way, even if it's your team. I don't want to see the Warriors win. It's not about winning, though.
It's about would that happen, AOH? Would that, in fact, come with LeBron James? Would he, in fact, go to the Warriors who never get the whistle like that? Would Steph Curry all of a sudden be getting the Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves treatment?
Well, I think it would. So,
but LeBron's whistle has been decreasing. He still gets bullshit calls, but it's not the way that it used to be. And in year 24,
the Lakers went plus 456 this season, AOH.
His teammates still benefit from it. It's not necessarily him.
Plus 456
from it.
Yeah, okay. That's hard to argue against.
Well, so PMR was talking about it before he disappeared, that wearing a Lakers jersey gets you 50 free throws for the season.
Yeah.
Just having that Lakers jersey on doesn't matter who you are. Now that LeBron is leaving that, it's going to follow him. Wherever he goes, that free throw discrepancy will follow.
Okay, let me add this, and I'll piss off some Laker fans. You combined LeBron and his call getting with the Lakers and their call getting. You don't get, if he goes to Golden State, you only get the LeBron calls, but you don't get all the LA calls. LA's always gotten kind of a questionable whistle, I think.
I mean, that's true.
So is LA going to lose the whistle this season?
They'll keep some of it.
You think? Okay. I'd be curious
That's
to
good.
see what happens to Austin Reeves.
We'll see what the script says because they started calling Luka out for stuff. We'll see if they start being nice to Luka again. It really depends on whether or not the league says they're going to befriend Luka or turn their backs on Luka.
Remember, Austin Reeves was leading the league in free throw attempts before he went down with the injury. So
You're
all these
right,
things,
you're right.
we talk about with LeBron. I mean, even when he was on the Cavaliers in that second stint, they were getting a lot of calls, man. But you are right. The Lakers overall, historically, have always been a franchise. I mean, listen, the franchise historically has been a competitive franchise, and they've had superstar level players on it. So when you have superstar level players on your team, then you're going to get preferential treatment. But when you talk about the kinds of calls that the Lakers have been consistently getting since he's been there, for them to always be plus 400, remember that one season they were plus 505? We talked about a lot of these things for the Lakers. I mean, it's out of control when you look at some of the calls that some of the no-name guys were getting.
Yeah, true. So I hear they lost Marcus Smart. I think that's a blow.
Yeah, that's absolutely a blow.
And they lost Kennard. They lost two of their main role guys, Luke Kennard and Marcus Smart.
Yeah. What do you guys think of this center?
Go ahead.
What do you guys think of Walker Kessler? Because I don't know shit about him.
I don't know anything about
I don't know anything about him.
The only question I think that we have about him would be his durability moving forward. He only played 5 games last season. So when you talk about that overall,
Yikes.
yeah, that's not a good thing.
5
But overall,
games.
he's a young player still. But he is known as being one of those guys who's a two-way player, someone who can play defense down low. He's one of the premier shot blockers, if you believe it or not, in the league right now. In this kind of version of NBA where there's not really any premier shot blockers, but it's really only Victor Wembanyama and then someone like a Kessler as the premier shot blockers. But he's also a solid rebounder, also down low. So listen, this is a good pickup for the Lakers. If he's on the court for 70, 75 games next season, he's definitely going to be an upgrade from whatever DeAndre Ayton has been doing because he's much more of a defensive-minded player and shot blocker than DeAndre Ayton. And like I said, he's still young.
Kessler is 7'2", 245.
Yes.
That's less weight than LeBron James, which is kind of crazy. But
Yeah,
he's a
young.
big dude.
He needs to work out, get a little heavy. You're right.
But
Well, I mean, 245 is not nothing.
What's
7'2"
interesting about that, though, is that, like, historically, like the Lakers losing Marcus Smart, that is a blow. That's like, when they lost, who was it? Was that Rajon Rondo? They didn't pick up Rajon Rondo. They didn't pick up Dwight Howard. They didn't re-sign what was the other big man? JaVale McGee. Like these pieces that for some reason go under the radar.
Yep.
It's like, no, like these are important pieces. How do you just let them float on by like that?
I would have felt fine if the Warriors had picked up Marcus Smart. That's how much I believe that Marcus Smart played well this year.
Absolutely.
As much as people want to shit on him, I thought that he did the things that mattered.
He's a dick, and I hate watching him play. Like, I hate how he flops around, but he plays hard. He sells a lot of calls, but he's emotional. Like, you can tell he's fighting for you. I give him that.
I need to ask Robin, since you suddenly became a Knicks fan at the end of the season, how you feel.
Oh, that's crazy.
How you feel about losing Mitchell Robinson?
That's actually funny that you say that. I was thinking about doing a video on that maybe tomorrow or something. I just saw that a little while ago. Yeah, these are the kinds of things that that we were just mentioning. How a team, like you just said, Speem, a team like the Lakers who wins a championship can then all of a sudden let guys like McGee and Dwight Howard and Rondo, you let your guys get away from the team, right? You let some of your main guys and Alex Caruso, you lose some of your main elements. And you wonder why and how this can happen. That is a combination of things here. Some guys want more money. Some guys aren't willing to take less money. Some guys are being able to get more money now because they're champions. Now they're viewed as someone who can contribute to a winning team. To me, Mitchell Robinson was always a goofy dude. Whenever I watched the Knicks play, he was always goofy to me. Not necessarily in a negative way all the time, but he always just seemed to be doing goofy things. He was funny. He was always in foul trouble. It never really seemed like he was going to be able to be a positive on the court in a big-time way. However, he proved that to be wrong, and he proved that he can get money, and he was given money, and he decided to leave. So, yeah, it does. It's sad. You know why it's really sad? when you watch that parade of the New York Knicks fans and the New York Knicks going down that Canyon of Heroes in New York City, when you see the interaction, Mitchell Robinson had his own truck out there in the parade with his name on the side. He had a connection with a lot of the local people there. That's what's really sad when you win a championship and you build these connections, off the court with some of the people around the city that you're playing for, and then all of a sudden you leave for a couple of dollars, so to speak.
It's true.
Overall, it's sad to see Mitchell Robinson leave the Knicks, man. Like I said, man, I like Mitchell Robinson.
It's a big dude.
And when we talk about, being a New York Knicks fan at the end of the season, it's more so me becoming a believer towards the end of the season. Because remember, I got several videos of the New York Knicks since I started my channel. And I did many videos about the New York Knicks and other playoff scenarios in other seasons, man. So I've always been here rooting for the Knicks and supporting the Knicks. And I purposely said I would not do a single video on the Knicks this season. I said at the beginning of the year, I told everybody out there, I ain't doing no videos. Y'all got to show me something. And guess what? They showed me something. So good on the New York Knicks, man.
Now, did all your Knicks gear, did that come out of the attic, or did you go to the store and buy that?
Well, think about it, AOH. You can't buy championship Knick gear until they win a championship, my man.
Don't be a goof,
so obviously, the championship Knick gear just came about. But I've worn my Knicks shirt in other places. I've worn my Knicks hat in other times. So again, like I said, man, I've never claimed to be a diehard Knicks fan. I've never once said that a day on this channel. Never once, man. But I always told you guys, when you grew up in New York City and you grew up the town that I grew up, I showed you that picture with Walt Clyde Frazier. You think it's a coincidence? I got a picture when I was 15 years old with Walt Clyde Frazier.
That's pretty cool, man.
It wasn't a coincidence, man. I told you guys the stories. I used to listen to the New York Knicks on the radio, my dad, man. And if you grew up during that time and you grew up in New York City, by default, you're a New York Knicks fan. That's why I tell people, when you think about the New York Knicks, it's bigger than any other team in New York City, man, because all you got are the Knicks, man. There was no the Brooklyn Nets, man. Come on, man. There was no Brooklyn Nets. It was the New York Knicks, man. They were the team, man. There was 2 baseball teams. There's 2 football teams. It was the New York Knicks.
Hey, Siberius, what else did you have? Go ahead. No, go ahead.
You guys have thanked the people in the supers a couple of times, but I've gotten a few of these and I want to make sure to say thank you also. And by the way, there's a new one. You want to read that one for me, Siberius?
Sure. Cuddly Patterson 9520. LBJ is diabolical. Number 1, now Steph can't win more than him. Number 2, Steph is loved, he's hated. He can latch his farewell tour to Steph's for a joint celebration. I think it can be a celebration of Steph and an avoidance of critique for LeBron. That's why he would do it.
Yeah.
Just like the Olympics.
I like that. Steph can't win more than him. I like that. That is diabolical.
Yep. Well, yeah. I don't know what to say. I was going to congratulate Lakers fans, but I'm not going to do any congratulating until I know that that guy's either out of the league or far, far away from the Bay. We're all left in limbo. I feel like I'm in purgatory right now.
Yeah. But that's always the way with LeBron, though. Like, that's the whole point. Like, we feed into it. We're part of the problem, right? But it also needs to be recognized. We can't just have a regular NBA offseason. It has to be, he has to portray this, I want everybody to worry about me. It's like, do you guys remember when, do you remember when AOL Instant Messenger first came out and you could leave an away message and somebody would leave this away message that would say, I sure am sad. I hope nobody talks to me today. Don't ask me any questions. I don't want to talk about it. And then, they expect 100,000 people to blow them up saying, well, what's wrong? That's the equivalent of what's happening right now. And it happens every single offseason. It's amazing to me that people haven't picked up on it yet and just said, just go sit down and we'll get to you when we get to you.
Yeah, there's another flaw in the sports analysts praising going to Golden State, because they've also talked about how a lack of rivalries has hurt the league. And the closest thing that they had was Warriors Cavs, which was repetitive. If they actually believe that rivalries are valuable and good for the game, then they should think that this is gross. They should think that this is absolutely not what he should be doing.
Right.
Are there any decent rivalries? I mean, but other than I'd like to see OKC and the Spurs turn into one, because I can't stand OKC as like an entire entity. But other than that, I can't really think of a solid.
The NBA
rivalry.
refers to some things as rivalries, but it's like if they've met each other once before in the playoffs in the last 10 years, they'll call it a rivalry.
Yeah, it's not really, the way that you would think about it. Like you said, guys move around too much to really, build up over the course of a couple of seasons. The lack of physicality in the game, takes away from the rivalries, really developing the way they used to build. The physicality added to the rivalries back in the day because there was a physical element to these matchups, to some of these playoff series. It's really sad. Even if we think about the Kawhi Leonard scenario, if you guys want to talk about the Kawhi Leonard scenario and him going back to the Toronto Raptors, is an interesting development because, again, if we think about LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard going to Los Angeles on different paths, different teams, I posted something earlier about the commercial with Kawhi Leonard when he first got to the Clippers. And he had a commercial, and I remember them talking about this New Balance commercial, and it was supposed to be Kawhi Leonard challenging LeBron James for Los Angeles. And it was like, hey, this is my city, right? Kawhi Leonard was coming there. The New Balance motto is we got now, right? So Kawhi Leonard was going to LA. I got now. This is my city. And Kawhi Leonard went out there and actually did less than LeBron James in LA. So it's really funny to me when you think about someone like Kawhi Leonard, someone like LeBron James, them both going to Los Angeles on two separate teams and pretty much doing nothing out there for these franchises, making a lot of excuses, having a lot of fumbles out there on and off the basketball court. We all know the Kawhi Leonard and some of the legal things that he's had happen off the court, since he's been in LA. So to me, this whole thing has been laughable when you think about these guys now possibly going back to another team that they already played for. Oh, LeBron James might go to Miami. LeBron James might go to Cleveland. Oh, Kawhi Leonard going back to the Toronto Raptors now. I tell you, it's funny stuff to me.
That was a huge story before the season kicked off, and nothing came of it.
Well, one of the things that you touched on, Robin, is the physicality makes the rivalries. And I absolutely believe that's true. I made a video about it a while ago, and the complete lack of hand checking, the 3-second rule, just the inability of players to play quality defense now. Well, what opposition are you creating? Opposition builds rivalries. Right. Somebody going into your house and shutting you down develops that hatred, that animosity between each other, that willingness to compete and go at each other. And there's none of that.
But Siberius, just what I will say is opposition does create that. However, if I'm on a team and I'm going up against the Lakers and this team that I'm going up against is just allowed to manhandle me and grab the refs and pull them to the side and have these conferences after the game and have all of these things handed to them that give them an actual competitive advantage outside of the game of basketball, to me, that would make me that would make me hate them. That would be enough for me to create a rivalry. Like, yo, like these guys get away with murder as it is. I hate this team because we're playing against them and the refs. I think that's why everybody hated OKC, because it's like, you're not just playing OKC, you're playing against OKC and the refs. But for some odd reason, and this is the genius, well, not the genius, this is the stupidity behind people, not the genius of Clutch, but the stupidity of people wouldn't allow them to see it's the exact same thing with the Lakers, or it was the exact same thing with the Lakers. You're playing against the Lakers and the refs. If I'm a team, that's enough for me to hate them to create a rivalry. But this league is just full of a bunch of pussies that just want to take the money and just keep going. They don't care about winning. They don't care about a rivalry. They don't care about how they're seen, whether they're seen as a winner or a loser. Just get the money and get out.
Well, I think it's the lack of competitors, because I'm not going to lie. If I was playing now with my mindset, I'm going to go bad boy Pistons on these teams. Those guys that want to flop, I'm going to knock your ass down. You're not going to flop. I'm going to hurt you. But that mindset is gone. Nobody seems to fucking care. Winning, losing, tie doesn't matter.
There has to be more to it. There's just too many guys in the league. There has to be one guy that would be willing to do that. There must be more that's keeping these guys from retaliating.
Yeah, Isaiah, what's his face, is the only dude I've ever seen put someone on the ground because they were doing too much. Isaiah Stewart.
Well, he tried to do something. He was
Let me rephrase. He tried. He at least went after LeBron like somebody who actually wanted to hurt him. And guess what? LeBron wanted nothing to do with it.
Nothing.
Shocker.
Well, no,
Shocker.
he always cowers against physical defense. I mean, he's getting beaten up by weak ass bullies.
No, but
I mean,
it's
Ant was
Siberius.
going
It's
at him
even
and he was backing down. Like, come on.
it's deeper than that. I remember when Austin Rivers accidentally threw the ball at him, right? LeBron turns around, starts shrugging his shoulders, getting all big. That's Austin Rivers. All right, cool. Do that against Isaiah Stewart. Do that against somebody who's your size, or even doesn't even have to be your size. Just somebody that'll stand up to you. Do that against Desmond Bane. You're not doing that to someone that can actually touch you up, but you'll do it to Austin Rivers. That's cool.
But remember, you guys, like you were saying, you have to be willing to be on the court against these guys. When they're load managing, we talked about a lot of this stuff before, and I've talked about it in some of his videos. When it was time for Charles Barkley to face Karl Malone on the basketball court, they showed up more often than not. They were going to be on the court. When it was time for the New York Knicks to face the Chicago Bulls, Patrick Ewing was there. He didn't duck out and be, hey, man, listen, I'm going to sit this one out tonight, guys, because the Bulls are going on a three-peat, and I'm going to rest up because we're on the second half of back-to-back, and I don't want to play the Bulls in Chicago. Nah, man, those guys were out there. So when you think about someone like Joel Embiid, for example, you guys remember a couple years back how we were all laughing at Joel Embiid because every time he was supposed to play Nikola Jokic, he didn't show up. So you can't build a rivalry when you're supposed to be in a lineup against your rival, Nikola Jokic, but you duck out every time the Nikola Jokic team comes
Every
to town,
single
my
time.
man.
Every
When
single
LeBron
time.
James doesn't play against Giannis Antetokounmpo for damn near like 3 or 4 seasons straight, how are you building rivalries with the young up-and-coming players? When other guys came into the league as young players, they were on the basketball court. So that adds to you developing some rivalry or some heated moments, right? That helps push the NBA forward because you have those moments. We talked about a lot of this stuff. These guys ain't willing to do that stuff. They duck it out on these moments. They ain't willing to go out there in these moments.
Shout out to realist 21310 Dylan Brooks. I forgot about Dylan Brooks. That's a guy that'll get physical. I forgot about him.
The
But it's
antagonist.
both the young players and the old players. Like I remember Kobe in his full All-Star game and all of the old heads talking about he's going to bring that game one-on-one to you. He's not going to wait for you to bring it to him. He's going to bring it to you. And then they weren't ducking him either. Though he was young, he was, more athletic. Nobody was ducking anyone. They weren't afraid to look bad. They weren't afraid to fail.
Right.
They were at least willing to try. And there's none of that anymore.
That last play of what was one of the most corrupt games I've ever seen with Dylan the Villain and LeBron James, the game that LeBron got away with assaulting a referee and Dylan the Villain got fucked over by the refs multiple times. At the end of the game, of course, Dylan should have been smart enough to realize you aren't going to get away with this when he went and got in LeBron's face after hitting the three. But there's a very important and subtle detail. He went over there to get in his face, which, depending on the announcer, would be like, yeah, this is good for the game. We like to see shit like this. It's competitiveness. It was a close-fought game. Or if you do it to LeBron, you're not allowed. But the other thing is LeBron moved into him and then flopped.
Yeah.
LeBron actually moved into Dylan and then flopped. And LeBron was rewarded.
Yep.
Dylan was punished. Dylan couldn't even get in LeBron's face without being punished. So what do you think will happen if Dylan got physical with him? Like, we would like to see the physicality. Obviously, they do have special rules that won't allow you to.
You mean like a special rule, like LeBron being
Yeah.
allowed to act like a drunk husband and just grab a ref by his arm and just pull him to the side and say, you can't do that, or he did this and he did like that. That's assault. in any other arena of life. And LeBron he's done that numerous times. And AOH, I think you brought this up on an episode of maybe like a week ago. I believe that's an automatic tech, right? If you put your hands on a ref. So
in the rule book, it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, he just like assault and battery, just grabbed him, pulled him to the side. And if you want to get that basic with it, we're talking about a 6'9" athlete grabbing a small gentle man and with force and pulling him to the side. If I'm that ref, I'm flailing to the ground like LeBron does. I'm acting like I have a fucking concussion. I'm acting like I can't see straight. Ask me a question, I'm going to give you the wrong answer every time, and then I'm just going to start throwing. I'm going to start throwing numbers out. Like, hey, this will all go away if you pay me X, Y, and Z. That's exactly what I'm doing.
That would have been something else.
Wouldn't that have been great?
That would, you know what? It would have made everyone take a hard look at the NBA, even if they didn't side with the ref. Yep. They'd be like, "Wow, now even the refs are flopping."
Showed up the next day with a fucking neck brace on.
Why not? LeBron does it.
Here we got another super here from N Hunter Stevie. Hey Siberius, I promised at the first game watch along that I'd give you some support once your channel was ready. So congrats and good work so far. Thank you so much for the super, Hunter Edge Stevie.
Very cool. Very cool.
Shout out to Hunter Stevie for coming through, man. Much respect to you, man. You get true supporters out here, man. We appreciate you, all you guys coming through all the time, man.
Taking your time to hear us talk. Is there any truth to that Bronny getting waived? I saw someone posted that in the chat.
Yeah, I was trying to look into that.
Yeah, I haven't find any verification of it. So
look, let's talk about LeBron, the family man, again. I know your kids are old enough to where they would be impacted if you moved, Robin. How big of a deal is that? Because I've often mentioned LeBron has this absurdly large mansion that he had built in LA, and he's got at least one child in the lower grades. Is he really thinking about his family if he moves out of pride instead of just staying in LA where he could?
Yeah, you know what's funny about AOH? I think the thing is, like you said, is that it's the promotion of LeBron James, the family man. Because remember, like, the fact that he's promoted as, remember, a great husband and father. So if you're going to be promoted that way, then damn, that's a big ass burden, man, to be a great husband and father. I don't think people listen, man. I've been with my wife for 20 years this year, y'all. All right, man, and I've been married for 10 of those years, man. Let me tell you guys something out there right now. I've talked about this before, man. Being in a relationship that long, being in any kind of relationship that long is not easy. I don't give a damn if it's your dog or your best friend. It don't matter what it is, man. You got to put work into that relationship, man. So when you talk about being great at being a husband, that's a big, once again, a big promotion of somebody. Let's understand. Number two, if you talk about being a great father, you know, once again, the responsibility and burden it is to be called a great father, man. Because there are a lot of fathers out there that ain't worth a damn, y'all. They ain't worth nothing, man. And you know what it takes to be a great father. Not just to be a good father, a decent father, man. Right? To be an everyday father. To be a great father. So when we're promoting LeBron James that way, and you talk about this man's son almost died a couple of years ago, and you continue to play basketball when you're a billionaire. What, like we said earlier, Speen, what's he playing for, dude? You're playing for what? You're playing for the money and the fame. So when you're playing the game, you're just playing for yourself. Okay. So what are you talking about now, AOH? What you do in your off time? You out there on the podcast on your off time? Yeah. You going to China on your Forever King tour? You're going to Constant's house? You're doing all the extracurriculars. You're doing a celebration of the 10-year anniversary for your freaking championship.
LeBron said himself he has nothing left to prove. But if that's true, and you're also whining about sacrificing time with your family, it's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it, that you should retire and be with your family?
Well, AOH, and actually, shout out to Pink Lady Scorpio, because I was going to touch on this. AOH, something that doesn't get talked about enough unless you look for it is LeBron has been associated with extramarital affairs for the latter half of his career. it's buried very quickly more often than not. But it's like one of those worst, best kept secret kind of situations. I would like to think also that the reason he's playing is because it offers a certain amount of security with his wife as well. Because I would imagine that once he leaves, he's gonna be under the, under the gun for a lot of extramarital affair type action is my guess. And that whole family man shtick, that whole being a great father, and shout out to you, Robin, for being, that transparent. Because as a father myself, I get it, bro. It's like to be called that, you have to earn that badge. You can't just wake up and be a great father. Like, it takes time, it takes effort.
So like Robin's a great father, Speem isn't.
Yeah, see, I was waiting for that, but it takes excuse him. But it takes time and energy and effort, and for somebody to be crowned that so significantly while showing the opposite, his son did almost die. So do you want to get into the parenting conversation of, is he a great father for continuing to have his son play this game when he basically just had a heart attack a couple years ago, when he doesn't need the money? He just wants to play, he just wants to play video games. Grand Theft Auto comes out soon. He wants to play that. He wants to be a gamer. He wants to be a kid, right? So is he really a great father?
And Speem, that's a good question that you asked, because who can really answer those questions? The only people that can answer those questions, not me, not any of us, not Stephen A. Smith on ESPN, the closest people to LeBron James, his family members, his kids, his wife, the people that are in his inner circle, they're the only ones that can tell you LeBron James is a great husband and father, man. And those are the only ones that it should matter to, that can talk about whether he's a great husband and father. And that's the whole point here. We shouldn't even be worried about whether LeBron James is a great husband or father, or if he's a good husband or a bad husband, or whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter. It has no bearing on any of these kinds of things. But this is what they promote LeBron James. And what does LeBron James himself say? Oh, I miss a lot of time with my family. I've sacrificed a lot of time with my family. Holy hell, LeBron James. Are you freaking kidding me, man? You could have retired years ago. There are a lot of people out there working jobs, man, and we don't got to go down that road. But we know there's a lot of people out there working that got to work forever. Forever. They got to work until they're dead. It ain't never going to end. And LeBron James could have been stopped. I told you, when I was young, I didn't see my dad for days, man. Freaking days. That man was working like a slave. Why? Because he could have just stopped working. We wasn't billionaires. Your son is almost dead, and you keep going to the damn basketball games. And what do you do when you show up? You walk around. If LeBron James wasn't cheating the game, if he was giving his all, and you want to talk about I sacrifice for my family, then you better go out there and really sacrifice for them, damn it. You better go out there and lay it on the line.
Robin, your nose is bleeding.
But it's unsubstantiated accolades he didn't earn. It's people bestowing things upon him that he didn't earn.
You just made me think. You just made me think about his speech about the process. Imagine this: like, he's sacrificing his family not even for the game, but for the process.
And we don't even know what the process is. We still don't.
The process is staying away from his family. That's why he goes to the gym 5 hours early and hops in the jacuzzi and has shakes and massages and shit. That's what we're supposed to be impressed with. As long as his family's not there. Bronny's not allowed in that jacuzzi room.
But actually, to Robin's point, it's two, like the two statements completely go against each other, right? The media calls him great father, great husband, right? But he himself says how much he has to sacrifice, quote unquote. So which one is it? Because last I checked, you can't do both.
And he doesn't have to.
He does not and more importantly, right, he does not have to. And Robin, just to piggyback off what you're saying, like save all that sacrifice shit for the people who actually have to sacrifice, who actually have to go days without seeing their kids, who actually have to live paycheck to paycheck. There's not one billionaire on this planet that I ever want to have to hear about sacrificing anything, let alone sacrificing time with their kids. I mean, I'm not in that man's household. I'm not in his checkbook. I'm not in his brain. But it's very difficult for me to think that there's any semblance of life difficulty that anybody in his family has to face.
I don't know. According to him, he's talking about he's broke.
Who's broke? Who said that?
LeBron did.
He said he's broke.
Yeah. I mean, he probably is broke, given that he spent all these millions on that house, that he spends all the millions
Don't
on
forget
his
the millions
media
on his
company.
body and his body.
He makes just bad investment after bad investment. I wouldn't be surprised if he's broke.
I'm telling you, man.
Stop it. Yes, you would. $550 million from NBA salary alone, much less his endorsements. His house, as big as it is like chump change.
Lifetime
Well,
contract
right.
with lifetime contract with Nike
pennies
too.
in comparison.
Word, man. I'm telling you. Ain't
But
never
it's
taking
still,
no pay cut.
it's people crowning him with titles that he didn't earn. And just like with his career, if you look at it under a microscope, it all falls apart. You can't say he's a great husband when he says, ain't no party like a Diddy party. I'm sorry, but one fucking negates the other.
Bet he
You
wish he
can't
could get that
say
back.
He's a great father when he abandoned his son who had almost died, and now he's abandoned him again on the fucking Lakers.
How about the Rick Bucher quote that declarations are confessions? If you have to
Absolutely.
if you have to verbally pretend that you're a great father by announcing it, maybe you're not. Like, for example, Charles Barkley has been married to the same wife for a very long time. But you know what Barkley does? Barkley says, don't look at me as for an example. Don't look for me as a role model. But quietly, all this time, he's been in the same marriage. Would you even have guessed that? Well, we shouldn't even be thinking about it. We shouldn't even be thinking about it. Who gives a fuck about these people's families and children? Fuck off. You're a professional athlete. Come to work, do your job, and then leave. And do your job well. I don't want to hear you come to work and talk about, oh, I had to leave my family behind in order to come to work. Oh, you mean like everyone?
Everybody that has to earn their living.
Yo, Tom Brady had a baby mama. And nobody never talk about Tom Brady baby mama. Come on, man.
AOH, you know what athlete does deal with shit about their wife in the media all the time? Steph Curry. You know how often he talks about it? Never. You never hear about it. When it comes to Steph Curry, and
Steph Curry wife a hot mess.
She is, exactly. That's my point. That's my point. No, but we never hear about it because Steph Curry handles himself as somebody who doesn't have something to prove.
Well, it's about the
LeBron
smartest.
James' wife called him the GOAT respectfully.
Yeah.
Oh, that was one of the hardest moments. I had such secondhand embarrassment watching that. That was difficult to make it through that entire thing.
And I'm sorry, that's another qualifier that he is not a great husband. No great husband would make their fucking wife call them the GOAT.
He might as well have grabbed her like he grabbed that damn ref and dragged her up there and made her say that. That's exactly what happened. Even as she said it, you could tell she didn't mean it when she said it.
Goodness gracious.
Listen, even if he didn't make her do it, he should have. If he was a real man, he would have been embarrassed that his wife said it. It's like, no, that's not appropriate.
Without question.
Michael Jordan would not have ever had either of his wives say that shit.
Word. Yo, man, I'm telling you right now, Steph Curry wife, she mad funny, man. I tell you right, it's crazy.
She's insane, yo.
When you think about some of the things that these people do, and like you said, my man Steph Curry will just take it in stride. I mean, the dude's taking all kinds of shots to the face from his wife, all kinds of nonsense in the tabloids. And I mean, remember, your woman is not supposed to give you headaches, all right, man? Remember that. You got a woman, man.
Oh, really?
She's supposed to add drama and give you headaches, man. She's supposed to help you give solutions, man. She's supposed to help give you the answers. You're supposed to be able to go to your woman with the problems. She's supposed to be giving you the goddamn problems. You Steph Curry, man. I'm giving you everything, and you keep giving me problems, lady.
Steph Curry deserves a Nobel Peace Prize for putting up with the shit he just dealing with Draymond Green, on his team, this saboteur. That's like he's there to fuck his legacy up, dealing with that and his wife, and just having no help during the prime of his career, being the greatest shooter of all time. He deserves like some kind of award. He is, and nobody talks about that, bro. You're going down as the greatest shooter of all time, arguably top 3, maybe top 5 handles of all time, a 4-time championship during somebody else's quote unquote era, and that's not giving him enough credit for the bullshit he has to deal with.
It's the smartest thing he could do. It's the best way for it to die. If he would only add fuel to the fire by responding to it, but I can't say that would be easy. Like, it would be hard not to. Ooh. I paid attention to what that dumb bitch said once, and that was enough for me. I was like, ooh. I'm gonna pretend that bitch doesn't exist because wow.
That was funny, man. Goodness gracious.
Praise the Don disagrees with us. He says LeBron has sacrificed. He sacrificed Kobe.
Oh, damn.
I've heard that. I've heard that rumor several times.
He sacrificed his defense a long time ago. That's for damn sure.
Oh,
He sacrificed his teammates all the time.
Yup.
His coaches.
Yup.
let's think about the difference in mentality of somebody who is able to stay quiet, though. That means that you actually believe in yourself and you're secure. LeBron James is the exact opposite of that. You know, if Steph Curry had any characteristics that are similar to Michael Jordan, it's the ability to just stay quiet, which is impressive. Especially in the day and age in which you're actually rewarded for crying. And if someone has a camera and a microphone, like look at Isaiah Thomas. I've heard more from Isaiah Thomas's old ass in recent years than I did in the previous 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Isaiah, you got some more shit to complain about? Come on our show.
But that's all anti-Jordan stuff, right? I mean, that's the only reason he's even relevant. I want to say, though, to your point, AOH, when it comes to like the Celtics and Jaylen Brown and Tatum and everything, I think that's why I've always been more of a Tatum fan than a Jaylen Brown fan, because Tatum seems to be the quieter, great player versus I feel like Jaylen Brown is consistently bitching about something. Like, however you feel about the two of them, I feel like Jaylen Brown is always talking about why he should be appreciated or why he needs X, Y, and Z, versus Tatum, who has a nasty injury, works his ass off to come back from it, and I don't know, he just seems quieter. I
used to think that they
was
were
an
both
interesting parallel.
I thought Jaylen Brown used to be quiet too. Did he get
Not
noisy
lately.
in recent years, or has he always been that way?
He's been noisy, but he's been going at it with Stephen A.
Well,
for the last couple months.
He should. Fuck Stephen A.
I mean, listen, Jaylen Brown, I feel bad for him sometimes because it feels like he doesn't necessarily get the, recognition that he deserves, but he kind of has got the recognition. I mean, the man's got a Finals MVP award, so, you're getting some respect if you get the Finals MVP. But, yeah, their personalities have seemed to have gone in different directions over the last several seasons, with Jaylen Brown being more so outspoken as far as, off-the-court issues, standing up for certain kinds of social justice things, and just being vocal overall in players and their rights overall as players. But yeah, I mean, they're talking about now about trading Jaylen Brown, that he's maybe on the trading block for the Celtics. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Jaylen Brown and stuff. But yeah, you're right. He has been going back and forth with Stephen A. Smith over the last several weeks now, and it's become an actual thing now. Where it's funny. Like I think even what's his name? I saw an article on ESPN with Stephen A. Smith with somebody that someone's father was getting involved now. So it just all this stuff becomes like laughable at a certain point.
It was Brown's father, I thought. Was
it Brown's father? Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if it was Brown's father or someone else's father. But yeah, so I said this stuff is just funny to me, man.
Wasn't he talking about he's going to put hands and feet on somebody? Is that what he said? They were talking about with their dad, that their dad was going to fight somebody?
I don't click on those things, but that's what the title said. That's what the title said.
I don't either.
Remember when they just played basketball?
I'm trying.
But it's funny, like Stephen A. Smith has a problem when anyone else has an opinion on something that he doesn't feel that they should have an opinion on. And I get that. But Stephen A. Smith does the same exact thing. Stephen A. Smith, the problem for a lot, I mean, this is my opinion here. But to me, one of the biggest problems with a lot of the athletes over the last, let's say, 10 years, because they've had access, to their own podcasts, and everyone has a platform now. Essentially, if you're a professional athlete, no matter how big or small you are, you have a platform. One of the biggest problems for a lot of these guys, LeBron James, one of the biggest culprits of this, is they believe that they're so well versed in everything. They believe that they're right and they know everything, not because they researched these topics, not because they went and learned about these topics, but because they're celebrities. Hey, man, I'm a professional athlete. I'm playing the NBA, man, so I know what I'm saying, man. So they'll talk about a topic that they have no clue about, and they'll think that they're right about it. Stephen A. Smith is a politician now. Dude, you're a sports guy, man. You're a broadcaster. You're an analyst, man. That's what you do, man. All of a sudden now you're talking about, I might run for president. There's an absolute joke if Stephen A. Smith actually thinks people are going to vote for him for a freaking president, man. But that's where we're at with these guys. Everyone thinks they're a genius. Everyone thinks that they can be whatever they want to be. Yeah, I was thinking about being an astronaut last week, but I was like, you know what? Forget about that, man. Y'all a bunch of weirdos, man.
And goofs, weirdos and goofs.
Come on now.
Well, the only part I would disagree with is that I don't even think he's been a sports analyst for years. He's just been a show. He's just been a show. It's just been running his mouth. He hasn't actually spoken about the game or anything that happened on the court. He was rewarded for that. He got a huge contract for providing drama. And I'm sure it's gone to his head. No wonder he thinks he can enter into politics. Hey, all I have to do is run my mouth and people think I'm worth listening to.
Yep.
Well, no, that's it. I don't even call them analysts anymore. I call them narrativists. Because all they do is they talk about their narratives. They're not analyzing sports. If they were analyzing sports, how the fuck do you glaze LeBron if you're analyzing his game? It can't be done.
He's a golfer now. He likes the weather.
He's a shit golfer too.
There's a question in the chat from Travis Reyna. I think I can, if you can throw that on the stage. It says, you guys do know the Lakers have one of the most successful teams in the decade. So how was that a failure? And what was the expectation, in your opinion, when Bron first came to LA in 2018?
Who said it's one of the more successful teams? Who said that?
What's that? Well, that's what this person's saying.
I know, but
so what I'm going to say is, how do you gauge success then? Because I don't think anybody here counts the bubble ring as a legitimate ring. And I'm going to repeat this.
Somebody who listened to Brian Windhorse or Stephen A. Smith and can't think for themselves. The person in the chat.
There. Okay, so there it is there. And I think
it's a parrot. You're a parrot.
Yeah, I don't think most rational people count the bubble ring as a real ring. So even if you do, okay, how do you measure success? Because to me, this is just me, success isn't missing the playoffs several times, getting booted in the Western Conference, getting swept, getting ousted in the first round. None of that to me can be measured as success, especially if you are considering yourself the greatest of all time and you are setting the bar yourself that high. You yourself are the one putting out the tweets, putting out the social media messages, promising all of this greatness. If he had never said a word,
free throw advantage,
right? If he had never said a word, if he had never said anything about personnel ages and keep that same energy and blah, 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 I think we might be talking about this less. But the fact that he built this up himself, he did this to himself. He's the one who said his son was better than 95% of the league and blah, 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 blah. If he had never said any of those things, then maybe the blow would be lessened. But the reality is he did do all those things. The Lakers, in large part, were not successful by any winning metric where it counts, i.e. championships. And I think that's what most people would go on.
Speem, I think you hit a lot of great points there, and you really broke it down. And you know what you're speaking to.
Thank you, Robin.
No, for real though. And what you were speaking to is, like you said, really, how do we gauge success? And yes, if we're saying, were they successful versus the Clippers, for example? Yeah, we just mentioned this earlier. I said that to me, the LeBron James and the Lakers accomplished more than Kawhi Leonard did with the Clippers in LA in that time that they've been there. So yeah, we can say that versus the Clippers maybe, or some of these other crap teams like Brooklyn Nets, for example. They've accomplished and had more of success than those teams. But we're not talking about the Lakers and the Lakers' success. Where you just mentioned, Speeman, exactly on the money. You were talking about LeBron James, because it's about LeBron James's time in LA being a failure. It's not necessarily the Lakers and what they did or didn't accomplish. It's about LeBron James. So what did LeBron James really do at LA? We talked about the 2020 championship. See, the problem for the LeBron James fans in the 2020 championship and how they promote it, and yeah, they'll say like, whoa, any team could have won it, but LeBron James' team won it, so you guys hate on it. No, what we talk about is the advantages that the Lakers were given versus other teams during that process. We all understand this. Also, we talk about the domination of Anthony Davis during that run and the credit that he does not get that he deserves. And we also talk about where were the Lakers for the remaining seasons following this? Where were they the next season? Where were they the season after that when he told us to keep that same energy? Where were they the following season? They've been making all these roster moves, different head coaches, all in what? In an effort to get LeBron James to win another championship. So that LeBron James can continue to add to his resume. So everything's always about LeBron James, not about the Lakers and his time in LA. Everything's been about him. They haven't made moves to benefit the Lakers. They made moves to benefit LeBron James. And what did he do to reciprocate that? He played peekaboo. He laid down the court on you guys. He looked for scratches when they weren't there. He was asking to transfer Band-Aids when they didn't want to give him one because there was no reason to get a Band-Aid. LeBron James missing all these games. LeBron James flopped on the court. LeBron James gave you all these moments, missing all-star games, destroying all these moments for the Los Angeles Lakers, man. So that's why it's been a failure. You guys missed the play-in more than you guys won the championship, man.
Well, the reality is they heaped all the expectation on themselves, from the media to the players to the fans to LeBron himself. If you want to shoehorn yourself into a conversation with actual greats, then you have to meet that expectation or exceed it. Otherwise, it is a failure. When you say you're the greatest of all time and the greatest of all time performed better than you, longer than you, without the help that you had, that's a failure.
Yep.
Just because people don't like it doesn't change the fact that that's the reality of it. If they had never bought up players from the past, if he had never called himself the greatest of all time, if the media hasn't constantly glazed and made excuses and forgiven him for every error, then yeah, maybe we might have a different perspective, but that's also not the fucking world that we live in.
That's not the reality of it.
All of these things did happen, and not only was he a failure, the Lakers as a franchise failed because they allowed it to happen.
Well, and also when they make it simplify it as LeBron's time in LA was successful, you make it sound like the only thing that changed in LA was that LeBron came and turned things around. I mean, the roster changes that took place were astonishing. It's not, LeBron doesn't get credit for making something that wasn't working work. Everything fucking changed.
And that's what you got from this dude, Travis Rainer here. I see a lot of his comments in the chat. All he continues to do is make excuses and talk about the following years after the bubble. Oh, LeBron James and Anthony Davis missed games. Dude, you continue to make excuses. That was the same series that LeBron James walked off the court early. But you won't talk about LeBron James walking off the court early. You make excuses about them missing games. That goes on LeBron James, dude. He missed games and they missed games. What are you doing? That's the story. There's no excuses here, my man. I don't understand you, LeBron James weirdo. Why do you guys continue to make excuses for the following seasons? Then you talk about 2022. That was to keep the same energy season. Right? And you talk about, oh, they missed games. It doesn't. He told us to keep the same energy, my man. He told us, in fact, to please keep that same energy. He said, don't worry about our age. We all laughed at them. So all you guys do is continue to make excuses for LeBron James, even though they made all these moves, all these free agents they signed. Every offseason I hear, the Lakers are revamped and retooled. LeBron James ready to go. The season comes, you guys make excuses, man. This all you guys do is LeBron James have a bunch of excuses. So LeBron James is so great. He has all these excuses by his fan base. You guys were right yourselves. I mean, it's actually quite laughable. Remember just last season or the year before this one that just passed? They said Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5. And what happened? They lost
stupid ass rhymes for
it. And what everybody do? Oh, look at Doncic, man. He wasn't playing no defense. LeBron James getting manhandled by Rudy Gobert. Rudy Go-freaking-Bear out there dominating. And y'all over here talking about Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic, just this past season, he led the league in scoring. And they said, well, Luka Doncic don't play no defense. He don't play enough defense for LeBron James. Like, get the hell out of here, man. LeBron James cherry picking down the other side of the court all season long.
Well,
and
here's
go ahead, AOH, my bad.
Everyone has an excuse. Now, in fanboys' minds, if you provide an excuse, somehow the lack of success turns into success. So if all you ever like, I don't care if the entire team got hurt and you had terrible luck. that's not success. Sorry, you don't get to count it.
LeBron
as a
James
success.
is durable. LeBron James this, but
Right.
you talk about games he's missing. All I see is this guy saying the same thing. He missed games. Dude, why don't you tell me something else? Give me something else. When was
Every
LeBron James
team-
spectacular on the Lakers and he lifted and elevated the team around him? When did LeBron James ever live up to the hype in LA? They won the championship off the strength of Anthony freaking Davis, my man. Yo, Anthony Davis had a 40-20 game in the in-season tournament. LeBron James gets the MVP and celebrates it like it was the actual championship. Come on, man.
Robin.
This is insane stuff.
Robin,
Every team has
real
been
quick.
successful.
Robin,
Every
real-
team is
real quick.
successful because they have excuses.
What I was going to say was, speaking of the in-season tournament, is, and this is to further the point, success now is built on narrative, because we saw in real time the in-season tournament go from being the greatest thing that anyone's ever won to immediately, within the same season, immediately not counting for shit. And this came from a Lakers team that, you know, that's known for success, right? And now they're having the equivalent of a parade. They're having banners, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
This is the most difficult thing, blah, blah, blah. It's great for the rookies because they get guaranteed money, blah, 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 like they need it. This is all great, blah, 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 right? But now, all of a sudden, when another team wins it, it doesn't matter, because it didn't matter to begin with. But the narrative was built in that if the Lakers win it, if LeBron wins this in-season tournament, well, it's great. It's never been done before. It's this thing that can be added to his list of accomplishments. But guess what? It doesn't matter. And we've been all convinced that success is based on whatever the sports media tells you that success is. But every once in a while, you're going to come across a person with some small amount of common sense that'll tell you that's probably not the case. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cared about the in-season tournament. Nobody cared about the bubble tournament. But revisionist history, time travel basketball will tell you, based on this GOAT conversation, well, you know, LeBron did those things, so he must be great. I think that's the larger issue, is success isn't built on winning anymore. Success is built on storytelling. And those are the weird times that we're in.
100%. I just want to get to a few supers real quick. Praise the Don. Stephen, the Sambo Smith. Dude's a joke. Yeah, he is.
Stephen A. Sambo Smith.
And Robert Moore 4424. LeBron needs to take his talents to his driveway, and him and Bronny work on their game.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yep.
Holy shit, we've been here an hour and a half. Time flies when you're angry.
It does.
Word. I mean, listen, the Knicks won the in-season tournament and the NBA championship this season, but no one talked about the Knicks winning the in-season tournament this year. No one even mentioned it, man. Everyone talked about the NBA championship. No one was like, oh, yeah, man, the Knicks in-season tournament champions, man.
You remember briefly the Lakers said something about they weren't going to hang the banner? Like they got a little bit of sanity briefly.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Well, it just added to the insanity of the fact that they put it up. They actually, for a moment, said, oh, yeah, no, we're not going to hang it next to those banners. I think because Kobe Bryant's quotes were out that, you know.
Oh, we don't, what was it? We don't hang, what was the exact quote? We don't hang championship basketball, something like that. Or not, we don't, I
They
forget.
only hang one
championship
banner.
banners.
We only
They
hang
hang
one, that's what it is.
championship.
Yeah.
I mean, remember the Milwaukee Bucks the following season when they won the in-season tournament championship. Remember, they didn't even celebrate. Like LeBron James and all them celebrated. They chose to do it differently. Like I said, these all add to the embarrassing. Like when people say, oh, how was LeBron James' time in LA a failure? And again, they point to the team stuff. When you talk about LeBron James, the individual, again, we point to all these moments. What moments does LeBron James have in LA that you can point to? And you're like, yo, that was an iconic moment. You got people talking about, yeah, they won the Western Conference Finals in this year. They made it here that year. You're talking about the team. We're talking about what did LeBron James do in LA that you'd sit there and say, man, LeBron James did this, did that. What are you pointing to? There's nothing for you to point to LeBron James' time in LA, but what are the moments that we have? What are the moments and the memories that you think about when you think about LeBron James in LA? We talked about the peekaboo stuff, but think about all the quotes and comments we have from LeBron James. You have keep that same energy. Remember when LeBron James said, I'm so competitive, you got to bury me 10 feet deep and cut my head off for me to not compete. No, all you need is some sciatica. That's all you need, and you good. You out.
Or to
What are you
activate
talking about?
playoff mode. You got to act. Robin, you're wrong. He didn't activate playoff mode.
Right. Activated
right.
playoff mode.
He didn't activate playoff mode.
Right. These are the memories. These are the moments you have. We have LeBron James, like I said, rolling around the floor. You have that moment with him and Jason Tatum when Tatum drives past him and LeBron James almost breaks his back trying to draw and foul bait in that moment. These are the embarrassing moments. The airballed free throws, the hitting the side of the backboards, all the video footage that AOH has put out of LeBron James in LA. All the coaches now, 4 coaches in 8 seasons. Are you kidding me? This is the Lakers doing everything for LeBron James, the individual, and LeBron James not taking a pay cut, getting max money, not giving max effort. This dude's been an embarrassment in LA, to say the least.
Like I said, the fact that there were sports analysts on TV with a straight face justifying drafting Bronny in the first round by talking about his athleticism or his upside, not even acknowledging the fact that Clutch and that entire family lied about his height and his weight going into the draft, which to me, I don't understand how that doesn't get you in some kind of trouble. They said he was 6'4", 220 or something like that, when in actuality he was like 6'1", like a $190. And you have that, and you have Rich Paul flat out telling all these other teams, don't draft Bronny because of X, Y, and Z. The fact that the Lakers, again, a billion-dollar franchise, caves like this, and you're not willing to take a pay cut just for them to bring in somebody other than Luka Doncic, who is arguably a top 2 player in the league, the best offensive player in the league, that tells you everything you need to know about somebody's character right there. They bent over backwards for you in every feasible position, but you can't take a little bit less off the top that you know you're going to get on the back end from Space Jam 3 or Trainwreck 2 or some bullshit. You can't just take this so you can maybe get yourself another ring with another generational superstar in Luka. Like, how do you not have the foresight to see that?
You know, the fact that LeBron James fans always point to Anthony Davis missing games, that actually shows you that Anthony Davis was, in fact, the driving force behind the Lakers. Because when he wasn't there, the Lakers were nothing. So all you hear is LeBron James, man, Anthony Davis, man, he's missing all these games. And the funny thing is they actually act shocked when LeBron James is the one that recruited Anthony Davis to go there. So how can you, in fact, use that as a crutch and excuse when LeBron James' agent got him there? And you act like Anthony Davis was never injury prone before the Lakers, man. I've said this many times. The LeBron James fans are so delusional and their memory is so short that they don't look at the totality of these situations. They just look for a quick excuse. Oh, look, Anthony Davis wasn't there in that game. He missed that playoff series. We have to make an excuse for LeBron James. And then they'll turn around and say, yeah, you know, LeBron James does more or less. He carries bums. So then why do we care that Anthony Davis wasn't there? And if Anthony Davis is so great that you need him there, then obviously he's the main guy in the driving force that was carrying LeBron James throughout those seasons, man.
You can make a starting 5 of generational players that LeBron has played with that would negate any GOAT argument ever.
Yep.
My bad, Siberius. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. You know, the fanboys also refuse to acknowledge the huge benefit in 2020 of the 6 months that they had off, what that did for AD.
Heck yeah.
Without AD, they certainly don't win that ring. Everyone knows he was the MVP and it was stolen from him. But without that time off, that doesn't happen.
Well, they didn't win a ring. They won like some gift cards or something.
Well, I mean,
no, but you're right, Siberius. That time off really benefited someone like Anthony Davis, and it absolutely benefited someone like LeBron James, who was older at that time still as well. So again, man, these guys, you know, have been benefited mightily, you know, in these situations. Like you said, the problem is LeBron James fans really never give Anthony Davis his just due. All they do is use Anthony Davis as an excuse. That's when they bring Anthony Davis up. Oh, Anthony Davis was out here. He got hurt. That's when you guys bring him up. You never bring him up for 2020. You never bring him up for the other seasons that he was carrying LeBron James throughout the regular season. All the wear and tear that Anthony Davis had to do, covering for LeBron James on defense. You guys won't talk about that for Anthony Davis. You just say, oh, he was out. He was out. He got hurt. Why do you think he got hurt? Because he has to cover LeBron James and his man simultaneously, night in and night out.
They don't give Kyrie his credit either, or D Wade, or Luka, or anybody.
Nope.
other than Matthew Dellavedova.
All we hear about Scottie Pippen. I hear about Scottie Pippen. Yo, Mike Jordan ain't worried about Scottie Pippen.
Right.
Scottie Pippen. Why don't you guys talk to me about the contributions of the other guys like we're talking about right now? Talk to me about all the other guys that played with LeBron James. Talk to me about the things they did for LeBron James, man. Don't sit there and tell me Anthony Davis missed some games. Talk to me about what Anthony Davis was doing against Nikola Jokic in the Western Conference Finals in 2020. Talk to me about all things he was doing. Did he hit a game winner in the Western Conference Finals in 2020? Talk to me about that. Make a video on that. Y'all don't ever talk about LeBron James' teammates. All you guys do is use them with an excuse. You use them for your narratives. You bring them up when you want to bring them up.
Oh, by the way, Russell Westbrook, who averages pretty much a career triple-double. And by the way, when they took him in, it was a built-in win-win for LeBron James that nobody talked about. A, if he wins, it's because LeBron made him win. B, if they lose, it's because he just couldn't get Westbrook to play ball. It was the clearest as day signing. And I'm actually kind of shocked. Unless Westbrook just like always wanted to be a Laker, I don't understand why he would take that. But to me, it was like such a lose-lose for him, and it hurt his potential later on down the line. Like, yeah, he's a hothead and he plays kind of reckless, but I'm pretty sure he played all 82 the year he was with his first year with the Lakers, and he played his heart out every single game. Whereas I'm pretty sure that was the same season LeBron, he sat out, 30 games that season? No, not 30. So it was a high amount of games. But Westbrook never gets the credit for it, right. Ever.
Oh, no, he got all the blame and the death threats.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. Because he wasn't with all that corny shit, the fake high fives and the weird celebrations and just the weird cult mentality. Westbrook just wanted to play ball, and that's why he doesn't.
They said it was a success for LeBron James in LA, even though his teammate was getting death threats from the fans of LeBron James.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
Come on, man, that's craziness.
It's true. It's true. I mean, and the reality is it's never going to change. I mean, hopefully LeBron will just retire and disappear, but the likelihood of that happening is almost impossible. Wherever the fuck he's going to go. I mean, if he goes to Golden State, Draymond will be the scapegoat. They'll try to scapegoat Steph, but that's probably not going to work.
Steph's untouchable. He's untouchable in Golden State.
If he goes to the Heat, Bam Adebayo will be the scapegoat. They'll try to make Giannis the scapegoat, but it won't work. If he goes to the Cavs, James Harden will be the scapegoat. Like, there's one built in on every team.
There is.
Siberius, that's true, but that's like, and that's bully behavior, right? You're only going to know where you can be, where you're only going to go where you can be a threat. So he's not going to go to a team where if he plays like shit, they actually hold him accountable. He'll go to a team where it's like, well, I did my best. So I wouldn't be fucking let Washington sign him. Who gives a shit? Who cares?
I made a video about that months ago that he's going to go to the Wizards because he's done everything in his career that Jordan did. And Jordan ended his career at the Wizards. So I think LeBron's going to do the same thing to try to erase him there. So I'm not going to be surprised.
Oh, shout out to G24.
If it happens.
Shout out to G24Ds. I forgot about Kevin Love. Kevin Love, it was so hard for him. He literally became clinically depressed after playing with LeBron James.
Yeah.
He became the face of mental health in the NBA. That's how bad it was. And Kevin Love was a career double all-star first-team player for Minnesota. Like, he was not to be laughed at. He was a great player, turned into a spot-up shooter, just like Chris Bosh. And next thing you know, Chris Bosh is he's getting champagne poured on him in a suggestive manner and dancing all weird and completely playing out of his position and becoming just like this shadow of himself, getting called Bosh Spice and stuff by his whole manhood was taken. So LeBron is only going to go to players where he can become the bully and literally like take people's souls.
That's funny, man.
Here, real quick, I just want to shout out this super M. Hunter Stevie coming through again. Thank you, sir. The Knicks had the right attitude toward the NBA Cup by not hanging that worthless banner after beating the Spurs and then beat the Spurs again.
For real. Exactly. That's true. That's a great point. Shout out to Hunter Stevie for coming through. Again, man, appreciate all you guys, man, that come through out there. Nemo LA, I see you out there. Heath Overledger, AP 530. Again, man, we really appreciate all you guys. Speedy Eagle, Swan Daily. Once again, love them skins. Rookie 30590. Like I said, it means a lot. Mellow SNY, man, for you guys to come through. I don't know about you guys, but I got to get going here, guys.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for the supers. Thank you for watching. Thanks for participating. Thank you, Siberius, for hosting.
Word.
And we will be back next Wednesday.
Again, man. Yo, once again, man, thank you to Real Siberius. Yo, AOH, yo, Speed, man. Hope you guys have a great night. Thank you very much again, man. I hope you guys be good.
Thanks. Later.
All right,
All right,
later,
y'all.
everyone.
Peace.